Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hesam. I'm one of the students of MBA Bridge program, and today we are going to talk about the course of ethical decision making, assignment number one, and personal reflection and decision making. And we are eventually going to answer how my decision making method has changed throughout the years. First of all, I'm going to talk about my childhood and how I used to be, and then why and how my method has changed. And I'm going to tell you why I think I follow all four models that we learned when it comes to decision making. As a child, I used to be very obedient, shy, and introverted. And as a result, I used to follow what my parents, my teachers, and also my older brother used to tell me is correct. And when it came to decision making, the story was the same. So I followed what these people told me, and my decisions were according to that. But when I got older, two things really changed me and fundamentally changed my approach. University and work. I learned to be accountable for the outcomes and for the consequences of my decisions. And that's how I learned to make my decisions according to something related to myself, not blaming others for what's happening to my life. First of all, I'm going to talk about rational decision making. As we know, we usually make some decisions with consideration of all the parameters and evaluating what's the most important aspect of that decision. For example, when I'm traveling, I usually do that with my wife, that we consider all the aspects of that travel, for example, ticket, hotel, accommodation, entertainment, shopping, you name it, whatever that consists that travel. And I provide some Excel sheets in which I list all these options and I weigh them. I give them credit for the importance of each one of them. And then eventually um, every option has a score and I find out what's the best option for me in that specific matter. So I think that's rational decision making after all. The second method is intuitive decisions, which I can make an example for about my English learning. I used to learn English since I was 8 years old, and I continued it until I entered university. And with a 2-3 year pause, I started again and never stopped it since. So I know I have spent a lot of time of my life learning English. And as the book says, thanks to my training, experience, and knowledge, these decision makers like me have an idea of how well a given solution may work. I just know it. Sometimes I don't know why, but when it comes to, for example, grammar, because I have a little bit of teaching experience, when it comes to grammar, I sometimes don't know what exactly the structure should be and why, but I know something is wrong with that sentence and I correct it by my inner feelings. I'm not sure why I know it, but I just know it. So I think that's something like innovative and something intuitive when I make those decisions. And I cannot convince people why I know it because I just know it from my guts. Another method is good enough decisions. For example, when I go shopping, when I go buy some groceries, I only buy the things that are needed the most and not usually what's the best thing or what I like to have at home. So I usually make those decisions in the shortest amount of time and mostly according to my past experiences and sometimes according to my habits. So whenever I'm, for example, choosing one specific product between 4 brands and I know all 4 brands have good enough quality, I choose the lowest price. So that's how I make those decisions without much thinking. And I think that's good enough method. Another method that we learn is creative decision making. I produce some music podcasts in my free time. I'm not a musician, but I just do it by myself and very amateurly. But when I'm trying to build up a mix, sometimes I encounter um, a problem and I don't know how to solve it. I can, for example, not connect two part of my mix, which is completely finished, but the last conjunction, that last connection is not working. For example, in those situations, I follow 5 steps exactly like what creative decision making tell us. I first recognize the problem. I know something is wrong with the music. And then immersion happens. I try to record again and again. I use try and error method. I do it um, uh, for lots of time, but it still doesn't work. That's when I let it go for a while, which is called incubation. You literally free your mind from the subject, but your unconscious part of your brain is still processing and finding a solution for the problem without you knowing it. And that's when illumination happens, the eureka moment that uh, you found the result without knowing why. For example, I'm in the middle of nowhere, I'm taking a shower or hanging out with my friends, and all of a sudden the solution comes to my mind on how to solve that problem. And that's when verification and applications begins, which I record the mix again, and usually the outcomes are satisfactory. To conclude, if I want to say how my decision-making method has changed throughout the years, I should say my decision-making method has changed from not having an accurate method in my childhood to all 4 decision-making methods such as rational, intuitive, good enough, and creative. Thanks for watching and see you at the class.